Welcome back, everyone. Next up, we have Boxlight Corporation. It trades on the Nasdaq under the symbol BOXL and is a leading provider of interactive technology solutions under its award-winning brands Clevertouch and Mimio for the global learning market. Please welcome its CEO, Michael Pope. Welcome, Michael.
Hi there. Thank you for having me.
All right. We look forward to your presentation.
Yep. Great. Thank you. All right, so welcome to the presentation. Thank you for joining. The company is, again, Boxlight. We trade under the ticker BOXL on Nasdaq. Company currently trades at about $1.25 per share, which puts us at about a market cap of 81 million, and that's based on about 65 million shares outstanding. And Boxlight is in the business, as you heard, of providing interactive technologies. We sell under our award-winning brands, Clevertouch and Mimio. We also have a brand by the name of Front Row, which we acquired December 31 of last year, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But we're focused on both the education and enterprise markets, and we define enterprise as higher ed, business and government. And we sell a suite of solutions aiming to engage communication or improve engagement and communication in various environments. And we develop and we sell and we service our suite of collaboration software, interactive displays, accessories, professional development, and services. We are a global business. We sell currently into over 72 countries. We sell through reseller partners. We have over 1,000 of those reseller partners, about 300 in the US and the balance internationally. We have also sold into over 1.2 million classrooms and meeting spaces around the world, and we're proud of a lot of the customer reference sites. We've sold into some of the largest education systems, including, you'll see names down below, like Atlanta Public Schools or New York City, which is the largest school district in the US with over 1 million students. You'll see internationally, Stonehenge School, Hull College, Monte Vista, among others, throughout Europe. We also just in the last a couple of years, won some large contracts that were RFP opportunities where we bid against a lot of other solutions providers, such as Clayton County, Georgia is a big one that we've talked some about, and we've maintained a great relationship with Clayton County. That was 3,200 classrooms. Another one was San Diego, which was 7,000 classrooms. We're actually in year 3 of 5 of that contract. And that was a very large opportunity. And then Montgomery County is another one we talk about. Montgomery County is 10,000 classrooms. And so, again, won some really, really big opportunities. And then in the enterprise market, you'll see names there like Star Car, which is a dealership group, which was an interesting case study, SAP. We've sold into, various other Fortune 500 companies. You'll see some international opportunities there as well. But again, significant reference sites selling throughout the globe. From a timeline standpoint, we came together as a company really in 2016 when we acquired first a business by the name of Mimio. And Mimio was a company that came out of MIT. It was started by a professor and some students, and they were developing solutions for education. And they had some various display and accessory solutions, but we were really intrigued with their software, where they had built a teaching software to be used in a traditional teaching environment that allowed for the students to be able to engage with the teacher collaboratively. Also, it provided the teacher with tools not only to create a lesson plan and share the lesson plan, but in addition to the various engagement tools, also it provided for assessment tools to where the teacher could push out questions and get real-time feedback, specifically formative assessment, where they're assessing along the way, as well as a lot of content and other teaching-specific tools. And so we acquired Mimio for their broader solution suite, but particularly their software. We also acquired that year in 16 in July a significant company by the name of Boxlight, which of course we brought on the name Boxlight. Boxlight had been around for 40 plus years. They had been an innovator, particularly in the hardware categories within education as well as some corporate, but specifically with displays and certain accessories. So the combination of both Boxlight and Mimio in 16 put us on the map, particularly within education, selling a solution suite that could compete with anybody. And we started to pick up a lot of traction in 16. 17, we took the company public in November. And then you'll see post 17, we closed various other transactions, and most of those were small add-ons to augment our solution suite. But there were a couple more significant transactions, which I'll talk more about. But you'll see names there like Wisdom. Wisdom was a software business for education, and the CEO previously of Wisdom now runs our software strategy at Boxlight. EOS Education, that was a business that was in providing education, professional development and training. And the founder, CEO of EOS, Dr. Alex Lee, she now runs our services group at Boxlight. You'll see in March 2019, MyBot, that was a robotic solution. And a gentleman by the name of Steve Barker, he still works for us and runs that group. And Steve had tremendous experience working with Lego Robotics, developing components. Lego, of course, is the leader in robotics for education. But he left doing that and decided, hey, I can build something better. And so we currently have a robotic solution, which includes not only a customizable robot that comes in a kit and you put it together, has various sensors, but also comes with a platform that teaches kids how to code. And it starts with very simplified coding it's block based, and it moves to kind of full-fledged programming with programming languages. So you can start using in elementary school and then go all the way through high school or beyond using that same platform. And then we acquired a business in April 20, which was Robo3D and My STEM Kits. Founder of Robo3D, Brady Moreno, is still with us and leads our sales efforts for Robo3D. Founder of My STEM Kits, Hannah, also works for us. And My STEM Kits is a repository of content and curriculum and exercises for STEM. I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then that leads us to September of 2020, and that was our largest acquisition to date. In 2020, when we acquired Sahara, we were about a $30 million revenue business. Sahara at the time was 3 times our size at about 100 million. And so, acquiring and merging with Sahara, that made us a much more significant player, particularly in the education market. But also Sahara was quite profitable, north of 10% EBITDA. So the combined companies also put us in a much better financial position. I'd add, in addition to that Sahara was concentrated mostly in EMEA, whereas most of Boxlight's historical business was in the US, so geographically it made sense. And then I'd add as well that we brought on some tremendous leadership talent as part of the acquisition. Today, of our 5-member executive team, 3 of those members came from Sahara, then 2 from Legacy Boxlight. And so we have a great executive team. And then our core leadership team, many of the leadership team members also came from the Sahara acquisition. And these are individuals that have been in the industry for a long time, bring a lot of experience and talent. And then March 21, that was an acquisition of our distributor in Belgium, servicing Belgium and Luxembourg. So it was a small acquisition, but that was part of a strategy we have of selling, not through distributors, but selling through the reseller partners and having more touch with the partners and how they represent our solution, as well as more involvement with end users where we can influence buying by those that use the solutions. And then most recently, December 21, and I'll talk more about this in a little bit, but we acquired Front Row, which was an audio and campus communications acquisition. So just a couple words about our solution suite. So we're in the business of providing a total solution suite. So we're not a point solution provider. We provide a broader solution, which is necessary to be successful in education as well as in enterprise. And I would say that we have the broadest solution suite in education of any of our competitors. And all of those solutions work together in a cohesive environment. So they're all integrated within our software solutions. So starting with hardware, we sell interactive displays like the one behind me here. This is a large touch capable, that's a 75-inch. Typically we sell 65, 75, 86, and then we launched a 98-inch display. But these are 4K high definition panels, but just like you'd use your phone or a tablet, they're touch capable. So you can annotate digitally on the screen, or you can resize images and you can interact. 30 points of touch. So theoretically, you could have up to 30 students writing on the board at the same time, or that many points of touch. But that is our core solution. Today, about 70% of our business comes from selling interactive displays. And we'll sell these displays, again, in the hundreds or thousands, sometimes to school districts, or we can sell in smaller quantities as needed. But in addition to the display, we also sell student devices. In fact, we had a recent partnership with Samsung where we rolled out a new student device, which I'll talk about a little bit later. We also sell various accessories, which include document cameras and audio solutions. And we have a tablet we sell for the teacher. We have student response devices. So again, various accessories that we can sell that all work well with interactive display. And then we have a suite of STEM solutions. I talked briefly about our robotic solution. We also have our 3D printing solution, which is Robo 3D, and we have also some sensor technologies that come in. We have a science device that we sell that has various sensors, and that allows you to do science experiments both in the classroom, but also it's mobile, so you can leave the classroom and do them outside the classroom, bring it back in, and then you can analyze the data by connecting it to the large screen, or you could connect it to Chromebook laptops or whatnot. And those are pretty exciting solutions as well. Particularly, all of those solutions working together. We're working on more and more exercises and content curriculum where you could use our robotic solution as well as our 3D print solution, as well as our labs science device in an exercise. We're using all those solutions to teach various science or mathematics or related content and curriculum. We also have a suite of software solutions. Starts with our Mimio Connect blended learning platform. This is a new platform that we launched just post-COVID. And it's a platform that's cloud-based, and it's the next iteration of our teaching software. So historically, post-acquisition of Mimio, our key software platform was Mimio Studio, which is an installed software that resides on, say, a teacher device and student devices. But our new version of that is Mimio Connect, and again, that's cloud-based, so you can access it anywhere from any device. But also, in addition to the various functionality that we're providing historically, which include lesson plan creation, lesson plan deployment, interaction and collaboration within the classroom environment, assessment, etc. Also, Mimio Connect provides functionality for virtual or hybrid learning. So just like we're communicating right now virtually, or if you use Microsoft Teams or Zoom or others, Mimio Connect offers similar solutions, video and messaging solutions. But on top of the video messaging solutions, you also have all of the teaching solutions that teachers are used to using, all within the same platform. On top of that, I'm proud of the fact that we've begun developing monitoring tools, which you're not going to have within, say, a Microsoft Teams. And some of those tools include things like, if I were teaching a classroom of students virtually right now, and one of the students were to leave the lesson plan, maybe they open up a web browser or their email or something, I'm notified as a teacher that the student left the lesson plan. There's a little dot that turns red, and so I can then message the student and ask the student to come back into the lesson. Or also, if I were a teacher and I wanted, say we're a math teacher and I wanted the students to work on a math problem, I could say, okay, take 2 minutes, work on a math problem. Just like in a classroom environment, if I were a teacher, I would probably walk around the classroom and see how the students are performing. I can do the same thing virtually, where I'm going to be able to see the student screens and see how they're performing. But not only can I see their screens and how they're performing, and I can also annotate on the screen. So I could highlight, or I could make a note, or I could give them an A+ or whatnot on their screen. And so they're these more engaging and monitoring tools that we're offering. We also have a product called Links Whiteboard. Links Whiteboard is a whiteboarding tool that allows a teacher to use the whiteboard and all the various tools you need to annotate. Also, you can create lesson plans within Links Whiteboard, and there are some really great engaging tools that we're using there. Clevertouch Live, that's our digital signage platform, which I believe is the best on the market, and we offer that for education, but also, it's a great tool that we can offer for the enterprise market. And if you're buying multiple screens using that platform, you can make sure you reskin the screens where they all look the same, how you want them. You can push content to the various screens, whether it's applications or whether it's content you want to reside on the screen. You could push alerts or messages to the screen. You can do that live or scheduled. So a lot of great tools around managing, particularly if you have several screens or even hundreds or thousands of screens. You can manage those using Clevertouch Live, pushing the right content, having those skin the way you want them. And then we offer our app stores, which under the Clevertouch brand is called Clever Store, and under our Mimio Boxlight displays, it's called Mimio Market. But within the app store, we have various apps that are all vetted that you can put on the screen and you can utilize in various environments. And then my STEM Kits, another software platform, that's our repository of all of our STEM solutions and our lesson plans and content and exercises all reside there in my STEM Kits. And that includes the largest database of content and curriculum for 3D printing. Nobody has more content curriculum than we do for 3D printing for education. And that's all within my STEM Kits. And then lastly, we have an online educator community, which has thousands of lesson plans created by educators, which you can download and you can use in the teaching environment. And then lastly, outside of hardware, software, then professional development. Within professional development, we provide online self-paced courses. We have a ton of content there that we provide. Some of that comes free if you buy our solutions, and then a lot of that is paid content that you can pay for. We also provide various certifications, and that's for our own solutions like Mimio Connect. You can become a Mimio Connect certified teacher, or we also offer certifications for various other solutions that are third-party solutions. And a lot of the training and content we provide is for the various learning management systems, like a Canvas and others. We provide professional development around Google and Microsoft, professional development around even some of our competitor solutions. And then lastly, we offer customized live and virtual instructor-led professional development. And that could be if a school district wanted, or a school wanted a half day or a day or a multi-day training, we can do that. But also we'll often go into school districts and we can work with them on a full district-wide professional development plan. And that could be for the whole school year. And we have a couple large contracts we've won in that arena. One is Clayton County in Georgia, which, keep in mind, when we first were introduced to Clayton County, we sold them about $12 million in hardware. We then came back and we offered them a PD program, which they paid us $1 million year one. We've since renewed it twice again, and we've made almost $1 million per year for 3 years, offering customized professional development within Clayton County. We did something very similar in Phoenix Union, which is a group of high schools in Arizona, and we're looking to really expand our customer base within professional development. And a couple of reasons for that. One is high margin. And so, we're focused on selling more high margin solutions. But then secondly, professional development is interesting because it keeps us in the school district. Often if you're selling hardware in a school district, they may not refresh that for several years. And typically we talk about a 5-year useful life. A lot of times our warranties are for 5 years. And so the expectation is if they install a bunch of screens or other hardware, 5 years later, they're going to be in a position to refresh. And we expect that we'll, in most cases, win that refresh if they have a good experience with our solution during the 5 years. But during the 5 years, you have less interaction with that district, as they're just using your solution. Whereas if we have a professional development contract, we're in that school district and working with the teachers, administrators on a daily, weekly basis throughout. And that really entrenches us within that district and puts us in a position to make sure that we are going to win the next large contract, but also it puts us in a position to upsell along the way. School districts may initially only buy panels, and we want to come back and say, okay, we want to sell them document cameras, or we want to come back and sell more STEM solutions. And of course, if we have those PD contracts and we're entrenched in that district, we're going to be in a better position to do so. A couple other quick comments around margins. So interactive displays, those are typically about 25 to 30% gross profit margin. And it's competitive. And so, margins have been crunched a little bit in recent years. And I expect there'll be a little bit more pressure on margins for panels over the next few years. And that's one of the reasons why we've been so focused on diversifying and selling other solutions. When you look at most of our other accessories and peripherals, most of those are 40% or even 50+% margin. When you look at software, that's 80 or 90+% margin. And STEM solutions, those are typically 40+% margin. Professional development, 40+% margin. So you can see as we diversify and we expand our product mix and we sell more of the non-interactive display solutions, that will improve our product margins, our gross profit margins, and as a result, will improve our bottom line. And we anticipate when you're looking out 1, 3, 5 years, that interactive displays, rather than being 70% of our business, I expect them to be closer to maybe 50% or even under 50% of our business. And we'll pick up the balance selling those other solutions. And every one of those areas, product areas, have enormous markets. Special development is a huge market. STEM solutions, huge market. Within accessories, if you look at audio is a huge market. Software, of course, enormous market. And so there definitely is the opportunity for us to make up or see tremendous growth in each of those areas. Couple financial highlights. I'll go through these quick because I want to get to a couple final slides. But these are highlights from Q3. We shared these on our Q3 earnings call, and we've yet to report Q4 because we'll report Q4 full year next month, and we expect to share some exciting news there. But for Q3, we reported 61 million revenue, 7 million adjusted EBITDA, and then positive net income, which is actually our first time as a company showing positive net income. Keep in mind that Q3 is our strongest quarter, so we see our most substantial growth in Q3. In fact, if you look at that 61 million, we guided to 81 million for the year. So 61 divided by, or we guided to 181 divided by 181. So that's 34%. So that's about right. I mean, typically you're going to see 34, 35% of sales in Q3. Now Q4 slows down. Q1's our slowest quarter. Q2 is a little bit stronger. But so that leads us to, as far as Q4, we guided to 40 million in revenue, which I'll talk about. But based on the Q3 numbers, that's 61 million in revenue. That put us for the trailing 12 months as of Q3 at 214 million in orders, so tremendous order intake, 173 million in revenue, and then 15 million adjusted EBITDA. We ended the quarter Q3 with 33 million back orders, 32 million working capital, 55 million net assets. And then also you'll see there wasn't any real significant concentration. You'll see a lot of business internationally, nearly 7 million in Australia, just over 3 million distributing in the US. You got 2 million from Trox in the US, 2.9 million Spain, 1.7 million partner in Northern Ireland, 1.6 million partner in Denmark, 1.3 million partner in Finland. So nice, nice representation, particularly in Australia, US, and Europe. If you look at our guidance again for Q4 full year, you'll see Q4 guidance 40 million. To give you a comparison, we did 32 million in Q4 of the previous year, so Q4 of 20. So from 32 million to 40 million, that's good growth. That's all organic. So growth. There's no acquisition or minimal to no acquisition growth in that number. And then you'll see for 21, that's the 181 guidance in revenue, and then 16 million adjusted EBITDA. And then for 22, guiding to 230 million in revenue, 23 million adjusted EBITDA. And you can see in that graphic below, you can see the nice growth there. You can see in 21, we finally turned positive adjusted EBITDA, and you'll see that grow again in 22. Couple other updates. We've received several different awards, particularly from Tech and Learning. You'll see that there. We've advanced partnerships with Google, with Intel, with Samsung. You'll see that there. I'll just mention with Samsung in particular, we introduced a new solution with Samsung and their Chromebooks, where now we're selling a bundle of Samsung Chromebooks, but it comes with our Mimio View document camera, our Mimio Connect software platform, as well as some online self-paced training that comes with that solution. And so we're now just getting a little bit of traction with that and expect that to expand our offering. And part of the focus on that was, when we look at education, we want to pick up as much business per classroom as possible. So if we can sell display and we can sell various accessories, and now we can sell student devices and software and STEM solutions, we can pick up more market share of that classroom, and that advances our opportunity with the various relationships we have. So that was Samsung. Added some additional employees, and then we published a lot of case studies. And you can go see those case studies if you go to our website, either Clevertouch or Boxlight. You can find those there, and you're going to see an interesting mix of both education and corporate. Within education, you'll see special needs. You'll see opportunities that we've won with elementary, middle, high school. You'll see higher ed opportunities. And so we're very proud of the various case studies and the applications of our solutions. And then a couple words on Front Row. So we closed Front Row. This is December 31. We closed it just in the nick of time. In fact, we had until December 31 to close it, and it was the morning of the 31st we finally got it done. But it was a huge opportunity for us, something that we had focused on for quite a long time, of expanding our solution suite in audio. And part of the reason for that is, one, it's high margin, and so that's good to add. But then also, as we sell interactive displays, there's a big opportunity to also attach audio. And so if we can attach audio as we sell display, that's one of those upsell opportunities. But then also the integration is quite exciting, because Front Row not only provided distributed audio solutions for the classroom, but also they have and had campus communication tools to where you could communicate, Bell and PA and relate it throughout the entire school. And if you wanted to communicate from the administrator to one classroom or to multiple classrooms, or to common areas, or again the entire school, you could do that. But Front Row was audio only. So now that you add Front Row's audio with our interactive displays, now we're working on being able to provide communication of both audio and video. And of course, our displays have speakers, and so now you have an additional audio point. But also, when we install displays throughout the school, in classrooms, in common areas, and everywhere, and if you were an administrator and you wanted to communicate again to one classroom or to the higher school, I mean, if there were a emergency situation, you could communicate via audio everywhere, but also you could have communication showing up on the screen. You could push any type of image or verbiage or whatnot to the screens. And so there's a lot of great tools that we can offer around campus communication. And nobody's in a better position than that, because we sell the screens and we now sell the audio, and we're the largest in selling audio and screens to education. So again, we're better positioned than anybody being able to offer a really robust communication system. So currently, Front Row sells their Juno solution, which is a standalone speaker. You can install it on the wall. You can set it down. Comes with a microphone for the teacher, which usually you're using a pendant that you wear around your neck. And then also comes with student microphones where the students can communicate. And there's a ton of research that shows the importance of audio in the classroom, of making sure that the teacher can communicate more effectively, not having to yell, to the back of the classroom. And now with teachers wearing masks in some cases, it's even more difficult. So it's a great tool for the teacher, but also students in the back of the classroom. There's a lot of research that shows that they don't learn as well as students in front of the classroom. And the reason is because they're not hearing as well. And so that's one of the importances of offering this audio solution, to making sure you can distribute audio throughout the classroom. We also have integrations for solutions specifically for hearing impaired, where we can offer solutions to meet that need. But Front Row has 44 employees, including 17 sales representatives. They've sold mainly in the U.S., Canada, Australia, a little bit in the UK, and then you can see we provided guidance already for Front Row for 2022 this year, that we expect 30 million in sales, 50% gross profit, 7 million EBITDA. And then, to help us close the acquisition of Front Row, we did bring on a new credit facility. It was a $68.5 million facility with Whitehawk. At closing, we brought on $58.5 million of that, and then there's a $10 million accordion where we can borrow additional $10 million from Whitehawk. And that allowed us to complete the Front Row transaction, but also we refinanced our existing debt. We had a couple existing facilities, and then also we have that accordion for working capital, as well as a little bit of working capital at close. From an industry standpoint, interactive technologies is a massive industry and growing like crazy. You'll see this is just interactive displays only. This is data from FutureSource, and they pin interactive displays for 2022 in EMEA at 1.7 billion, and the US 2.2 billion. So you got about 4 billion is the market in 22 for interactive displays. And you'll see that tremendous growth, 13% growth in EMEA, 22% growth in the US. And we historically have been growing much faster than the market, and we expect that we can grow faster than those numbers. We've won a lot of awards and awards for our hardware, for our software, for our services. You can see those awards there. We have a tremendous leadership team. Again, I'd mentioned that 3 of our executive team members came from Sahara. Mark Starkey, who's our president, he was the CEO at Sahara. Pat Foley was the CFO at Sahara. He's He's now our CFO. And then Sean Marklew, CTO for us, and he had been the COO at Sahara. And then Hank Nance. Hank came from Boxlight. He'd been there for 20 plus years. And so Hank brings also tremendous experience. And I would say nobody has a better leadership team than we do. If you look at our competitors and their leadership team, you're going to see more industry experience on our team than you're going to see from our large competitors. We also have a tremendous board. I'll just point out a couple names. One is Rudy Crew. Rudy was a Chancellor of Education for New York City Schools, largest school district in the country, and then also was superintendent at Miami-Dade. Mark Elliott. Mark was president of our largest competitor, Promethean, and he's on our board. He was our previous CEO. You'll see Chuck Amos, another industry veteran. So great board that helps support us. And then last slide, I just couple last plugs for Boxlight. Now, one is we're in a huge and growing market that has experienced growth even through some of the various financial crises. Ed tech is growing. We have a proven and experienced leadership team. We have globally recognized brands that have been in the industry for a long time. We have the broadest solution suite of our competitors, and I would stack our solutions up against anybody. And then lastly, I'd say there's a lot of small competitors in the space. Ed tech is very fragmented, and we're looking to step up and be that main leader. And as part of that, I'd mention that we are the largest U.S.-based provider of interactive technologies, particularly for education. And if you look at our main competitors, they're Chinese, Taiwanese owned, and that is significant as well. And so with that, I believe I'm at time. So I would say thank you for joining the presentation. And I look forward to talking to all of you individually. And if you'd like to reach out to me, you can send me an email at michael.pope@boxlight.com, or you can email investor.relations@boxlight.com. You can also jump on our website and see more ways to communicate. So thank you very much.
Great job, Michael. Really important stuff you've got going on over there. We do have tons of questions for you. Do you have about 5 minutes so we can tackle a few of those?
Yeah, happy to.
We'll have you back on our platform so you can answer these directly to our shareholders. Okay.
Great.
So Arlene McBride asks, would you say the bulk of your sales comes from the education market? And what do you have to do to grow this further?
Yeah. So today of our sales, we're about 90% education. So the answer is yes, the bulk comes from education, and 10% what we call enterprise. And that's because we've been in education a long time. If you look at the companies that we brought together, Boxlight, Mimio, Clevertouch and others, they've been in education a long time, for dozens of years in some cases. And so enterprise was a newer focus from the Clevertouch side of the business the last couple of years. And then it's really been this last year that we started to focus more on it for Boxlight. We hired 2 team members that we brought on that are enterprise specific focused. And so you're going to see a lot more growth there. And I would expect over the next, 1-3 years or so that, you're going to see, triple digit growth. I think in enterprise is the kind of growth that you'll see. One of the interesting things about enterprise is it's much higher gross profit margin. There's less less focus on price points. And so that's an opportunity. But also we have great solutions for enterprise, both interactive displays, but also our digital signage tools in particular are really, really great for the enterprise market. So major focus, and you're going to see tremendous growth in enterprise over the next few years. Our education growth is not going to slow. We're just going to see enterprise growing at a much faster rate.
Great. We have Dexter Griffin saying, first of all, love what you're doing. Congrats on all the developments. He's a longtime shareholder. The company is growing nicely. He asks, what do you need to do to grow it further and turn the stock around?
Yeah, well, thanks for that question. So I look at two different things on growth, business growth. We're intently focused on growing the business, and we're seeing huge organic growth. Last year, in the U.S., we grew over 100%. We grew good double digit in EMEA. We grew internationally, about 100%. So we are seeing huge organic growth, growing substantially faster than any of our competitors. We're picking up business all over, including huge contracts that are very, very competitive, that ultimately they're selecting us. And so I couldn't be happier with our growth from a business standpoint. And we've hit all of our targets. 5 quarters in a row, we beat our guidance. We hit all our internal targets. So again, could not be happier with our business growth. And that's not only our revenue growth, also very happy with our profitability growth. We've been in line and growing above our targets and expectations from a profitability standpoint, and that will increase with scale. But as far as the stock price, it definitely has been disheartening seeing the stock price go down. The major driver of that has been the broader market, unfortunately for us. And how do we turn that around? I think two things. One is we have to keep showing great numbers and fundamental improvement, which we're going to do. And I think secondly, we got to keep telling our story the best we can, with a specific focus on larger institutional investors. And we have increased our institutional holding. If you look at that, it's gone up some over the last year, but it needs to go up a lot more. It's well under 20 points. And, we'd really like to have that institutional holding closer to 50 or 60 points. And if we do that, that will stabilize the stock price. You're not going to see the large swings that you see with, our retail focused investor base. And so that is a focus of ours. We did bring on, by the way, another analyst this last year. H.C. Wainwright was added. And so we're happy about that. We now have 3 analysts that cover us. And so, we're looking to attend conferences like these, hopefully bring on more equity coverage, and then tell the story the best we can.
Great. Gwen Wise says there's lots of tech companies getting into metaverse and NFT education and generating products for them. Do you have any plans to get into that space? Metaverse is interesting. We follow that very closely. Some opportunities there, and tied to that, we've looked a lot at virtual reality and augmented reality. So I think that would be our first step. And today, our STEM solutions are 3D printing, robotics, and then we have our science device that we sell with various sensor technologies. And that's all it is today. But could we add like a virtual reality, augmented reality solution? Yes. I think it's unlikely we'd build it. It's a potential we'd buy it, but probably not. I think most likely we'd partner with somebody to do that. And we've looked at some of those. And so I think that's the first entrance. And then as part of that, virtual, reality and augmented reality, that kind of launches you into this potential metaverse experience. So I would say yes, definitely an opportunity, something we're looking at. Probably unlikely in the real near term. It's probably a little bit of a longer term opportunity. And the biggest reason for that is it's taking a while for a lot of companies stepping into that space to really build out a robust solution that is fully functional. So that's step one. But also for education, you also need all the content and curriculum. Until you have that, it's going to be less exciting for education. And once you have that, well, then you have to start to get adoption. And so once there starts to be more adoption, you actually have significant school districts using it. There's a real revenue potential. That's around the time that we'll step in. So we're not going to be a first mover, but once we see the progress, then I do expect that we would step in via some type of partnership. All right. Well, we've got more questions for you, but we're out of time. So please join us again with these updates of yours. And thank you so much for your great presentation and your time, Michael.
Great. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
All right, everyone. What a great day so far. We're going to take a quick break, but know that we're coming back with some more fantastic companies for you. So stay tuned. We'll be right back in a bit.